What's your name?
Grant Johnson,
Grant Johnson. And what's your birth date?
April 7th, 1923.
Okay. So you just had a birthday last month.
Yeah.
What'd you do for your birthday?
Nothing. Stayed home.
You're under quarantine, so I guess you couldn't.
I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, we won't tell anybody. Where are you from, or where'd you grow up?
I'm originally from South Dakota.
Really? Why are you down here?
Well,
You met somebody, didn't you?
I retired and moved to Alabama 30 years ago.
Okay,
I've lived here about 30 years.
very good.
But when I joined the service, I was from South Dakota.
Yeah. So tell me about when you joined the service. How old were you, and
Oh, I believe I was 19 or 20.
Yeah.
That was right after Pearl Harbor. Right after it, that's when I enlisted.
Yeah.
I wasn't drafted. I enlisted. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't wait long after Pearl Harbor, did you?
No, I got right in there. Yeah. And then of course, I was trained in Great Lakes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was shipped to California, Treasure Island there, and then they put me on a ship. And I've been on the ship for all this time. 3 years I was on the water.
This ship here?
Yeah.
So I can get that on video. It's the USS Oakland,
Yeah,
light cruiser.
yeah.
So you were on it for 3 years.
Between 2.5, 3 years.
Okay. About how many crew were on that ship?
I believe there was 700.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was 500 feet long. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long, sleek-looking ship.
Yeah.
So what was your role on the ship?
I was a machine gunner.
And what was your rank? What rank did you have?
First class seaman.
Okay, and you were a machine gunner.
Yeah, 20 millimeter machine gunner.
So, where in the Pacific did your ship serve?
Well, it operated all over the Pacific. See, we was what they call an anti-aircraft carrier, cruiser. We protected the carriers, the big carriers.
Yeah.
We was always with the big carriers, protecting them. That's what we were.
You have some stories. You have some stories from different battles or engagements you were in.
Well, it went around. See, we shot down a lot of planes. We sank ships, 2 submarines, and some of the biggest things, we was the ones that went in with the Missouri in the harbor, at Tuca Harbor,
Mm-hmm.
when the surrender was signed.
Really?
We were with the Missouri.
Okay.
I remember that.
So you were there.
Yeah.
Very good.
We was on our ship next to Missouri. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So what kind of stories can you remember about, shooting down planes or submarines?
Well, I'll tell you one thing that happened that I remember. Over the loudspeaker, they said, "Bogey coming in 1 o'clock."
Mm-hmm.
I swung around with the machine gun and started to fire. But it was one of our planes.
Oh, no.
He was coming in to dump his plane because he couldn't make the carrier.
Okay.
He was going to get rid of the plane. As soon as we started firing it, we thought it was an enemy. As soon as I started firing, he dumped it. So we took him aboard ship.
So he was okay.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought, thinking you're firing on your own.
Yeah, that was a TBF Avenger. It was a torpedo plane.
Which could easily be mistaken for a.
Well, it happens seconds. You only got
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
You got to move.
You're looking at 1 o'clock. You see a plane coming in.
Yeah, you're trying to recognize it, but you know they travel 500 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So we shot down a lot of planes. A lot of them. When you operate with the carriers, right?
The gun that you were using, was it on the forward or?
No, I was up next to the bridge.
Okay.
Some of the things we did, at night we'd get up in the middle of the night and sit and look in the dark
Yeah.
till the eyes get used to it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'd go up to the bridge and with binoculars look for submarines.
Yeah. Yeah.
Submarines come up at night.
Yeah.
At daytime they're under the water. So at night we gotta watch the submarines.
So, if you had a little bit of moonlight, or just
Oh yeah, then it's good.
that would help.
Yeah, that's good.
When there's no moonlight.
Well, it's pretty dark. Yeah. I'll tell you, a lot of things I remember was the typhoons. We got mixed up in typhoons. Boy, that's rough.
I bet you did.
One other thing I remember, nothing to do with the war, but we were cruising on the water, and the water was like glass. Very seldom you see that.
Yeah.
The water's always rough. This was like glass. And we're cruising along at maybe 25, 30 knots, and the fish were following right with us. What do you call them?
Dolphins?
Yeah, they were right with us. It was beautiful. Yeah.
I bet it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The closest call I ever had was a plane come in at 0, made a dive for our ship, but he just missed it. He went right over it, and of course we shot it down.
Okay.
But another experience was we had to go into dry dock in Pearl Harbor. And that's amazing how they do that.
For repairs?
Yeah, the back end of the ship, we got hit, and they had to repair it. And they can drive. There's this big ship standing right there in the open.
Yeah.
All the water's pumped out, and they work on the ship. And in those days, we did all the work. They don't do that no more. Like cleaning the ship and painting it, we did that. They don't do that no more. They hire it done. But we would, when it's in dry dock, we'd hang over the side in a boatswain's chair and
Yeah.
clean the ship.
Clean it and paint it and.
Yeah, painting it and cleaning it, swabbing the decks. Yeah. And we spent a lot of time in Hawaii. And I did get a Japanese 31 caliber rifle and a sword. I got that. I don't have it home. I gave it to my boy
Okay.
because I'm afraid it gets stolen.
Yeah.
But I took that off a Japanese soldier. I remember one thing.
Where did you find that?
Oh, I forget the rifle.
Yes.
It was on one of the islands, but I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember. No. But I used to, when we went on Liberty in Tokyo, we'd go through them caves and see, they had just boxes and boxes of guns. You know, like over and under Brownies, beautiful guns. Oh, yeah. And we made 2 trips to Tokyo, you know, after the war.
Mm-hmm. What did you encounter any of the people there? The Japanese people there, how did they react around you?
Well, when we went ashore, they just ran. We'd go into a store, they'd clear out. We didn't carry guns.
They were scared of you, though.
Yeah, but they were scared of us. I don't know whether they just run. They run out of the stores and get out of the way.
They probably thought you were there to do something bad to them, and
yeah, they're afraid of us. They're
didn't
afraid.
know.
Yeah, they didn't know what was going to happen. You know.
Can you tell me anything about some of your buddies that you served with?
Huh?
Can you tell me anything about some of the buddies you worked with or served with?
Well, I'll go tell you one experience.
Okay.
See, on the 40 millimeters, that's a bigger gun.
Mm-hmm.
And they control that by radar.
Really?
2 guys, there's a metal fence around it to protect it.
Mm-hmm.
2 guys got caught in between the fence and the 40 millimeter. Killed them, right? Squashed them to death.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
When it was rotating?
Yeah. But I've seen a few funerals, burials at sea, missing in action.
Mm.
See, when somebody's killed, you can't send them home from the sea.
Yeah, no
So
telling how long you'll be
bury
there.
'em. You have a sea burial, and then they're missing in action.
Mm.
There's a lot of things. Well, like a captain, we had a captain. I remember the first captain, Captain Phillips. He was a real good captain, but we had some. Then he stayed there a year, and then he got a new one. The next one wasn't near as good. You know what he would do is the next one, he'd make you button up your shirt, the top button. It's 100 degrees. Yeah, but sometimes you get a good captain. But you see, I know, just tell you one time, we used to sneak up, we're not supposed to play poker. You can't gamble on the ship. But we played cards and played poker, and we'd do it. And the captain, Captain Phillips, one night went for a stroll, walked right up on us playing poker. We knew we'd had it. He said, "Deal me in, fellas, deal me in." That's all there was to it.
Yeah, he sounds like a good one.
Yeah, but we hardly ever landed on, could go on. We went one time, they took us on to an island named Mog, and they let us go ashore and play baseball and stuff like that for a day.
Cool.
Go up to coconuts and stuff like that. Otherwise, we was on the water all the time. A lot of times we'd go swimming in the ocean, but there's a lot, if there's any sharks around, but we'd still go swimming, but they'd put a guy with a BAR circling around,
Yeah.
watching us as we swim.
A spotter looking for
Yeah,
sharks.
yeah. Otherwise, we'd watch the movies at night. But I don't know, there's so many experiences. You know, the officers always got better food than we did, see. So what happens, they put their garbage on the fantail during the day, and then at night dump it in the sea.
Uh-huh.
Well, they'd put their garbage on the fantail, then we'd go to the garbage. They'd throw a can away that was dented.
Yeah.
Or a potato that one spot on it. We'd take it to the incinerator, bake it, and eat it. Because we ate, everything was dehydrated eggs, and we didn't get no real. Once in a while, a ship might come in with some fresh fruit. We'd get some of that. And I remember they used to have to go through my room to deliver that stuff. And before it got to the end of it, the fruit was practically gone. All our boys had fresh fruit. And we always wanted to volunteer for the ship that goes to get the stuff, so we get all that good fresh fruit. And cigarettes, 5 cents a pack. We always had a clean bunk and everything. I do remember one time, we picked up some Marines on one of them islands that had been fighting there.
Yeah.
And the reason I remember it, I used to run a boat that picked them up, you know. And when they got aboard ship, I'll never forget the looks on their Marines, on their faces. Mm. Those guys were tough. They were rough. I mean, they'd been through hell. Their faces. And I tried to talk to them. I tell them, look, fellas, we got empty bunks downstairs. Come on down. You're not getting me down there. I got my sleeping bag. I'll sleep right here on top deck. But those guys were not having no fun, no laughing, no joking. They were serious. I never forgot that. They had been killing people. It's not easy to kill people. It's not easy.
And then go back to normal.
Huh?
And then they got to go back to normal.
Well,
you know, with.
Of course, I remember things. You know, when I got out of the service, it was different then. When I went home to that little town in South Dakota, I couldn't buy anything. I couldn't buy dinner. I couldn't even buy a bottle of beer. If I went into a restaurant, I'd order something. Oh, that guy over there paid for it. Everybody paid for my meals, paid for my haircuts, and then after I went home after the service, I didn't have no civilian clothes. You know, just my uniform. So I went to a store that sells clothes, got a whole bunch of stuff, put them on the counter, reached for my billfold. He said, put it back in your billfold. This is on me.
Wow.
But it's different now. It's different now. They don't do it. No. One other thing I remember. The ship, we came into Oakland for repairs on the ship. So they had a little time. They said I could go home on vacation for a week. So I went home for 2 weeks, and when the time came for me to ship back to California, I felt terrible. I didn't want to go. I just didn't want to go. The day I was supposed to ship back to California, I got a telegram. Take another week.
Oh, wow.
Take another week. The ship isn't ready. Oh, we was. It's things like that happen, you remember.
Can you think of anything he's left out? Any story? Okay. So after the war, when you came back home, what did you do after the war?
Well, and right after, see, my dad lived on a farm, so I went right on and helped him on the farm. And then I left for there. I went to Detroit looking for work.
Okay.
I went to Michigan, to Detroit. I stayed there a while. I worked there. I've been retired now about 30 years.
What did you do?
Well, I did a little bit of everything. Bricklayer, blocklayer, everything. And then I got my own business and retired.
What was your business that you ran?
Selling motorhomes.
Okay.
Selling motorhomes. Then I retired. I like Alabama. I do. I do pretty good health-wise, except I'm having a little trouble walking now. Otherwise,
Well, you got a nice cane.
Huh?
You have a nice wooden cane there.
Oh yeah.
Where'd you get that?
Walking in the woods. Yeah. But at home, I got one of them little buggies you push around.
Stay just like that. I want to get another quick picture in that pose. I think I got you blinking, but one of those will work. Yeah.
In our family, 4 of us joined
Really?
the service, 4 of us. Only one of them got shot in the leg, otherwise not. I just want to tell you one story.
Sure.
My neighbor had 10 boys.
Wow. 10 boys.
Yeah.
Any
And,
girls?
they took 6 of his boys for the service, drafted them.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember him, old Charlie. He went to the draft board. You got 6 of my boys. You're not going to get any more. He had 10 boys. They didn't take any more.
Wow. Yeah, that's.
They had
He
6
did the right
already.
thing. Did they all make it?
Huh?
Did all 6 make it back?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they did. They all made it back, yeah. My brother made it back, but he got shot in the leg. There.
Mm. What town in South Dakota?
Bryant, Bryant, Bryant.
Okay.
It's a little small town. And you know, it's strange. When I went home on leave that time, like the guy that owned the restaurant there, Bumback was his name. He came up to me and he said, his boy is missing. Is there any chance that you could have saw him? Well, you can't. There's no way you can see it.
Yeah.
But he was desperate. He said, maybe you could have saw him someplace. So there was 2 or 3 of the boys that were killed in my town too.
Mm.
You know.